Today, I want to invite you to a mini masterclass. So, you need a journal and a pen and just relax. So, this mini masterclass is all about feeling enough. And what brought this up for me was I was writing an article for a magazine about body image, and I went back to look at some pictures of a very, very long time ago when I was persuaded to enter Miss Cardiff, and I knew I didn't feel good enough to be there. It was a horrible experience. I did not enjoy it, but it took all my courage to do it. And so my first question is, have you ever caught yourself thinking, I'm not smart enough, successful enough, thin enough, good enough? Now, chances are you have. You're not alone. This feeling of not enoughness is something that we all wrestle with. Throughout my life, I have not felt good enough. But I've always had this thing of, I think there's a book, isn't it? It's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And I just go and do things. And I'm quaking inside, but it doesn't stop that feeling of not feeling good enough. I remember, gosh, I was in my early 30s. I had previously, naughty me, got expelled from school, didn't have any qualifications, had to do them in night school. And in my early 30s, I went and did an MBA. And I remember we'd got to the end of the thing and were invited to come and see what the results were. I walked up the corridor, I looked for my name, I saw the word pass, and I slumped down the corridor. I felt, well, I've passed, but what does that mean? I still don't feel good enough. And to make it worse, the head of the school said, we've put the 5 best dissertations in the library. So I go to the library and there's my dissertation. And because I didn't feel good enough, I stole it. I stole it, which is completely ridiculous. But I took it because I thought, I'm not good enough. It's not good enough. Who's going to want to read it? I'm going to take it. So I'm laughing because I have done so many things. But here's the truth. You are enough just as you are right here, right now. So in this session, we're going to explore what it means to embrace that truth and develop some tools to connect with our inherent worth. And if you're anything like me, I'm feeling it in here thinking, and I have done, and you probably have so much work on yourself. So the first question for your journal is, when was the last time you truly felt like you were enough? I'm just going to invite you to put your hands on your heart, write that in your journal, and just take a moment to think about that before we move forward. Now, when it comes to answering these questions, it's probably best if you get yourself tucked up in bed later tonight. Well, you could go now if you want, if you fancy a PJ day or a duvet day. But write the questions down, maybe rewatch the video a little bit later on, but get yourself all comfortable, get everything sorted out, and get your journal and start answering those questions. And if you struggle with journaling, I've got 3 videos that are called How to Start Journaling When You Don't Know How, and that'll help you with some journaling tools. So let's explore this concept of enoughness. So what does it mean to feel enough? So at its core is this thing about acceptance, accepting yourself, that you're whole, you're worthy, you're complete, you're not broken, you're not fixed. Oh my goodness me, I feel so emotional. You are perfect. You are perfect. And it doesn't matter what you've done. It's not about what you've done or what you own or what you have. You are enough because you exist. Oh, I'm feeling but this is so, oh my goodness me, it's so hard for me to teach this because it's been such a massive lesson for me. So I should have brought some tissues. So we we live in a world that often tells us the opposite. We're bombarded with messages every day to say, you need to do more, you need to be more, you need to have more things to have value. And all of these messages that we are bombarded with shape our inner dialogue, and they then lead to this feeling that we're inadequate. We are not enough. You know, this is, like I said, this is a really, really big thing for me. And I used to believe I wasn't enough unless I was achieving something. I am massive on achievement. If someone says to me, can you do something? I think, well, I'm not entirely sure, but I will do it because I want to achieve it. It has to be something big. And then I realized that this was pressure from the outside world. These weren't my beliefs. The stories that I'd absorbed from the world around me, my peers, my parents, teachers. So something I want to leave with you is you don't have to earn your worth. It is already there. You were born enough. You were born beautiful and bold and brave. So let's break some of those barriers down. So another question for your journal. So again, let's pause and reflect. What areas of your life make you feel like you are not enough? It might be relationships. Oh, don't talk to me about relationships. They've been awful, 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 awful. That's why I have 3 dogs and no partner. But that's all about something that will one day change. Not quite sure when, but it might be relationships. I have never felt enough in any relationship, but my dogs adore me and I feel more than enough when I'm in their company. Maybe it's your career. Even though I went and I got an MBA because my first husband kept calling me stupid. So I did an MBA and then I still didn't feel enough. And, I don't feel that I ever used it in my career. Maybe it's about how you look. I recently went through a massive change, cut all my hair off. I kept looking at myself and there was just something, I don't know what it was, and these things come at really odd moments. You can be sailing along and everything's lovely, and then all of a sudden you don't feel enough. And we know that's about stuff in the past, but write this down in your journal. What areas of your life make you feel like you're not enough? So take a deep breath and let's consider this. These feelings often stem from a story or stories we've told ourselves about who we need to be loved and valued. So what if we could rewrite that story? What if we could change our perspective? What if you are enough simply because you exist? Imagine how freeing that would be. So when you've written those things down, I'm going to suggest that you leave them and then come back and start to reframe some of those things and reframe them from a point of enoughness. I am enough. I'm enough because I exist. So let's take a moment to pause and just invite you to take a moment to sit comfortably. Take some deep breaths, close your eyes, just keep breathing in and out. I often do 3 hearts meditation at this point. So I take my breath all the way down through my body. Imagine I've got roots growing from the bottom of my feet and they're going deep, 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 deep into the heart of Mother Earth. And you're going to connect those roots to something in the heart of Mother Earth. There is a gift, a word, a something, maybe a crystal for you there. And then breathe that beautiful energy back up into your heart. And then take that breath up, 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 up into the heart of the universe where you're going to connect with God, grace, your higher self, spirit, whatever is right for you. And there may also be something for you when you make that connection. And then bring that beautiful energy back in to your heart space, keeping your eyes closed. Just keep gently breathing. And think of a moment when you felt truly at peace or content. Maybe it was sitting under a tree, spending time with someone you love, or simply just enjoying a quiet moment somewhere. Picture that scene. See what you see. You might smell something, feel something. You might get a sense of knowing. And let that sense of peace and calm wrap around you like a warm blanket. And as you sit with this feeling, bring your hands and start to gently hug yourself and say to yourself, I am enough just as I am. I am enough just as I am. I am enough just as I am. Come back into your heart space. Take some deep breaths. Oh, and when you're ready, open your eyes. How does that feel? Go and grab your journal and write down anything that came up that you would like to explore later. So now I'm going to offer you some prompts. So when we're in that beautiful space and we're ready to write about a time when you felt enough. What contributed to that feeling, and how can you recreate it? So when I write things down like this, I'll sit and write whatever comes up. And when I come back and look at it, I'm looking for key words, things that kind of leap out at me that go, do you know, I used that skill, or I did that, or my mindset was like this. So if you spend some time writing that down, and then you can pick out those key words, then you know that they're the things to bring in that are going to help you to recreate that somewhere else. Think about those areas of your life where you feel inadequate, whether that's someone not being very nice to you or something that you're trying to do or achieve, and you just go, it does not feel good. What would it take to feel enough in those areas? Now, one of the things that I like to do when I get a question like that is to write a keyword. So we're going to do a spidergram. Write a keyword in the middle of a page and then write 5 words. What would it take to feel enough? Yeah. So those 5 key words, just let them come. And then leave that spider diagram, and then later on come back to it and write yourself like a story or a script or some action plan using the 5 words. It's really simple but incredibly powerful. So take your time with the questions, just let those thoughts flow without judgment. This is about reframing stuff and really tapping into the skills that we already have. Okay, so let's do an affirmation. I love affirmations. So take a pen in your journal and write down a statement that speaks to your heart. So it might be, I am enough just as I am. Or my worth is not defined by achievements or the opinions of others. I am enough just as I am. Now, the interesting thing about affirmations is we might feel that we really resonate with it, which is great because then we can write about why we resonate and what's good about that. But we might feel some resistance. Now, when you feel resistance, that is an invitation to explore. Why do I resist that? So if I am enough just as I am, and you're going, no, that doesn't make me feel good, explore why. And that could be a really, really simple mantra that you take through the day with you. Now, something you could do is write it on a post-it note, stick it on your fridge or your kettle. write them all over the house. And every time you go somewhere, I am enough just as I am. So before we wrap up, I want to remind you, feeling enough is not about perfection. It's about acceptance. It's about accepting you just as you are and letting go of this idea that you have to prove you have worth to anybody. You are already enough. And it's allowing yourself to believe it. I am enough just as I am. Now, before we go, I am going to do two little things for you. I'm going to go to this book, which is called 101 Days of Being Me. And I'm just going to flick through it and I'm going to pick a day, anything. Let me just flick, 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 flick. There we are, day 63, the gift of presence. When I am fully present, I uncover the quiet joy and beauty woven into each moment. The present moment is where life truly happens. When we are fully present, we experience the richness and beauty of life as it unfolds. Presence is about being mindful, noticing the little things and appreciating what is here right now. Appreciate yourself. The affirmation is today I'm fully present, savoring each moment as it comes. And the call to action is to do one activity mindfully. So I am going to suggest that your mindful activity is your affirmation. So now the other thing I'm going to do is I've got a lovely deck of self-love oracle cards, and I'm just going to pick one for you, and I'm going to turn it into a question if I can. And the card we've got is the gift of knowing. Know that you are enough. So I want to thank you for joining me today. It is a little mini masterclass. And if it resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts below. If you've got any questions or comments, and please don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. So until next time, be kind, be passionate, compassion, show compassion to yourself. So lots of love and have a really, really wonderful, wonderful day.